Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and here I ramble with articulation, I hope, about music, video, audio, cool things that I see in the videos that I cover on the channel. And today I am covering one of the more requested songs by Pentatonix. I say more, not most, because there are some that have been requested more than this, but they are holiday themed, I'm sure, to nobody's surprise. And subsequently I am going to cover them at a later date. This is, of course, their cover of Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You. It's an extraordinary piece of music. And this, I'm fascinated to see what Pentatonix does with it, because I think this is something that could be really up their street. So this should be good. I haven't said this, by the way, but I'm going to say this on a couple of videos. Thank you to Mickey from the Voice Play community who suggested the ramble with articulation, or rather commented on what I do with that phrase, and that's why I picked it up and started running with it, and I kind of enjoy it. Anyway, yeah, so of course this was released in 1984 as part of the soundtrack for The Woman in Red. It won a Golden Globe and the Oscar for Best Original Song that year. It was Billboard #1 for 3 weeks. It was #1 in so many different countries. And it's one of those pieces of music that you've heard even if you don't know you've heard it, I think. It's always around somewhere. And it's marvelous. I love this song. I think it's such a kind of honest look at how incredible love can be, and what a small thing can mean. And I think that's remarkable. And I think that Wonder has captured it so very, very well in this song. So yeah, I'm very excited for this one. I will say welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way this works, I'm going to watch this video straight through from beginning to end. I will be commenting and emoting over the top of it, but I won't stop it. I will then go back to the beginning. I will watch it again, this time pausing, interrupting, and offering what commentary and analysis I feel I can, based on what I've just seen and heard and the foreknowledge of having seen it once already. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button. The notification bell can let you select how often YouTube tells you I'm posting something. Normally 5 PM EST on a Friday. And if you would care to, you can support the channel in one of 3 ways, which is either going to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts for a one-off donation, or patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can, there's a single tier at the moment of $2 Canadian, which is just a means of ongoing support, but also gives you access to my Discord channel, or you can leave a super thanks here on YouTube. Any of those, very, very gratefully appreciated, but no pressure, of course. And I think that's about all there is to say, so without any further delay, I am going to jump in on Pentatonix, covering Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You.
No New Year's Day
Ooh.
to celebrate.
Lovely simple start, just the one voice.
No chocolate covered candy hearts to give away. No first of spring, no song to sing. In fact, it's just another.
This is gorgeous, the build that they're getting through this.
I just called.
Oh, that's nice. Lovely video transition.
I love you.
Oh, the way they're harmonizing
I
this.
just called to say how much I care. I just called to say I love
wow.
you. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
I love the concept for this video so much. Oh, wow, that harmony.
No Libra sun, no Halloween, no giving thanks.
These arpeggiated chords behind are just stunning. Ooh. Oh, some of these transition chords. Wow.
To fill your heart like no three words could ever do. I just called to say
They're playing with texture so much.
I just called to say how much I care. I just called to say I love you.
Oh, the harmony is so rich.
From the bottom of my heart.
Oh.
Of my heart. Of my heart. Of my heart. I just called to
Oh, lovely key change. Ooh, ooh. Oh, this is so rich.
Yes, I mean it.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, I mean it from the bottom of my
Oh, those final harmonies are so rich.
Hey, thank you guys for watching. I just called to say I love you.
Absolutely. Check out our playlist of all of our top tracks over here. And guys, we're going back on tour.
Yay! Tour dates in the description box below. Love you.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, that is stunning. I knew they were going to do a good job of this. They took it a different route to what I was necessarily expecting, but I loved it. I just want to see, are there some details? Let's have a look. They're not the best at this. No. That's a shame. I'd like to have known a little bit more about this. I don't know. Were any of the people in the video relevant to them? Were any of them family, anything like that? I don't know. Or maybe it was just members of the general public, which honestly would work just as well and has almost as much meaning as if it was family that was in them as well, because of the context of the video, and I love that. The richness that they demonstrated in the harmonic construction of that was quite brilliant. These cascades of arpeggios coming through and then shifting chords between like the sort of key chords of the thing, the transition chords on the way through. They had some beautiful notes in there that just get really kind of... It gave that kind of dissonance that feels good. Like, dissonance can go so many different ways, and there's a kind... Adding in things like seconds and fourths that makes it feel like you're enriching the experience. You're not changing it. It's taking the emotion that's already in the song and playing with it more. And that's what I feel like they just did. That was wonderful. Here, let's go back and go through this one. Simple title for a simple song. I know this is what they were doing at the time, but it works.
Now New Year's Day.
The choice to skip the intro, by which I mean the intro, there's a musical introduction to the Stevie Wonder version. The choice to just nix that and come in with Scott on his own, this beautiful clear tone, perfect. Absolutely perfect. And for the vibe of the song, it sets the vibe out the gate. They could have changed it up. They could have got to the end of the first verse and brought in a more percussive feel and got a little bit more upbeat. Would have worked perfectly well, but they chose to go this way and stick with it, and I love that. And I love the fact, too, unless I'm much mistaken, we hear him singing as he's sort of halfway into the shot. So we're seeing the singing with him. And what's nice is, because he wasn't fully in the shot, it sets up this expectation that we're not going to always be seeing who is singing, which is not what happens in this video. Sometimes they do that. This time they don't. There's a lot of focus on the individuals who are acting in this. And the choice to have it start there The title is still on the screen. That's a separate element. Scott isn't in full view. If I like he's even sung a little bit there. It's probably yeah, it's right there when he's only half on the screen. This is where he starts singing. He's almost completely cut off. Nice choice, because it sets up this idea of transition that we're going to be seeing throughout the entire video. I'm not going to talk in any detail about the sets because they're quite plain, but also we'd be here forever because there's so many of them. And I love what they did with this. I think they achieved something really, really clever with the way it's been edited and cut together. And they start that right out the gate with when they choose to start the singing versus what we're actually seeing on the screen.
No New Year's Day to celebrate. No chocolate cake.
One other thing I think is quite smart here as well, this is obviously quite a blue scene, but because you have this warming sort of pinky orange going on outside, the sort of salmon colour, it's warming the whole thing up, so the blue isn't cold. And blue is frequently a cold colour, but it can still be a warmer colour if it is combined in the right way, shot in the right way, whatever it happens to be. And the way they've chosen to light this, we've got this lovely sort of backlight coming in also from Scott's left. And so you have the entire one side of his face. It's opposites for me. But this side of his face on the screen has that warmth to it that kind of sets him into a space that is not cold. And this isn't a cold song. It's one of the warmest songs out there. And even though, no New Year's Day, straight off the bat, if you didn't know the song and you heard that lyric, it might feel like it's a sad opening, but the way they've lit this tells you it's not. And I really, really like that.
Celebrate. No chocolate covered candy hearts to give away.
And I love, this is so clever. The reveal, we hear, I presume it's Mac singing. We hear Mac come in and we expect to pan down to see the person who is singing. And instead we get whoever this is. And I apologize to this person for the fact that I can't identify them, but I don't know who any of the folks are in this. I think it is lovely to immediately introduce the conceit of this video, which is this idea of ordinary people having these important phone calls that are just simple phone calls to talk with your loved one. And that is really, really smart. I love that so much. And to introduce them in a space that is casual. There's nothing forced about this. It's like, this is just somebody sitting down in their chair and they've got a phone call. So they take the phone call and they get up and they move around. It's lovely. There's something very natural about it.
Candy hearts to give away. No first to spring, no song to sing. In fact, it's just...
I also love the fact that Scott passes out of the shot and comes back in again. I'm going to talk about singing in a minute, but there's just so many things that are catching my attention here. And it's such a simple thing, just to have him walk out and leave us with this person looking happy, having this delightful phone call, and then Scott passes back in to continue singing. And we have this kind of rotation of who is in shot at any given moment. Just a really nice touch. I want to go back on the singing just because I was fascinated with where this was going to go.
No first to give away. No first to spring.
And now we bring in another voice. The build. I talk about build so much, and a lot of the time it's, increase in volume or people singing unison, splitting out into harmony, things like this. This is one of the purest builds of just stacking people. They're adding people as they go along, and it's really, really beautifully done.
No song to sing.
That note right there, just in the background, we hear it.
No first to spring, no song.
And as soon as you get that, as soon as we go down to that next note, that fades away slightly. I don't know if that was a vocal choice or a mixing choice or what, but it just pulls back. It's hit its entry. And now it's going to sit there providing this beautiful harmonic touch at the top. But we don't focus on it. It doesn't intrude in any way. Other things move around it, and it's just there to be a kind of anchor. It would work, traditionally, not traditionally, that's the wrong word, but it wouldn't be surprising to find that being done by a bass note. Bass often anchors things. But I love that they've chosen to stay high for now so that they can get that warming bass coming in a little while. This is great.
No first to spring, no song to sing. In fact, it's just...
And the change there from... the shift into a more vowel-oriented sound, it just brings in a little more quality, a little something different. Again, just changing it up and building a little bit more. Lovely stuff.
In fact, it's just another ordinary day.
And there we bring in the bass. And what's lovely is we come in on this, the fourth there, and it could be going down to and we restart on the tonic, but actually it doesn't. Ordinary day. We get the tonic from Scott, but presumably Matt, I would guess, goes from the da, he's singing there, and he goes up. So the bass on that tonic note is the fifth.
Just another ordinary day.
And we get that, and it sets us up. We know something else is going to come in. It feels like we're not going to move on to a chorus yet because we're not finished with the verse. And that's a trick that gets used in songs sometimes. You end your first verse on more of a hung, incomplete sequence so that when you get to the end of the second one, you can finish it off, move on to the chorus, and then if it's a 3-verse song, say, or even a 4-verse song, the third verse will often end on that more complete sequence. And then back into the chorus and so on and so forth. But it's a nice setup to have that very first verse end a little more sort of openly. I love this two interesting things happen there. I love this transition of just going past the wall and now we're in a different room with a different person. They still have a window, they still have a clock. There's still greenery. Like, there's a lot of familiar elements to what we just saw. There's still a blue shade. There's still a pink shade. I mean, this one's verging on purple, but there's a lot of things that are very, very similar but different. Even down, the person is wearing a blue shirt in each one. It's very, very simple things that give it a familiar feel, even though we've moved into a new scene, and it just tells us, here's a different version. Here's somebody else on the phone having a lovely phone call. Are they talking to each other? I don't know. But they're each talking to somebody that they care for and smiling and happy. And I think it's really well managed that they keep a lot of the same elements as they move between these two shots. Also, something else I want to... Interesting. I don't know if you can hear that. Right in the distance, just as the first chord, the end chord of the first verse fades away, it sounds like we get... There's just a very quietly, as if it's going bum, 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 leading us back into the tonic again. I don't know, is that a ghost note or is that actually there? It's interesting. Also, I love Scott's jacket, the sort of tartany thing with the fur collar. That's really cool. Is it Burberry? I don't know. I'm not up on my patterns. It's the right colours for Burberry, I think.
I just called.
Yeah, I think it is there.
I just called.
And it's the note he's going to sing too. I just called. So I think it might be in there as just a little lead into the next section, and that's actually lovely. And I love that we get this kind of this. I don't know how to replicate it, but that kind of widening of the sound there, that sort of almost like an R chorus or like a bit of reverb or something in the background, just leading into this next section, and then it goes to a very dead sound. They take out all the reverb from the vocals.
I just called.
And it stops abruptly. I just called. And all of a sudden it's gone. And it's quite abrupt, but it works. Because this right here, I just called to say I love you. It is so simple. And what they've done by yanking all of that reverb out is they have left the vocals in their simplest possible form. It's the voice as you would hear it in a studio. That's really smart.
I just called to say I love you.
And notice you get that I just called to say, they take a breath, that's an arranged breath, and all you can hear in that gap is the breath sound. There's no note hanging on, it's a totally dead acoustic at that point in time, and you just hear them breathing in again. It's lovely, and the harmony that they strike here, wow! This, I think there's a second in there.
To say,
Say, say, say, say, say. Oh, hang on.
I just called.
I just called. That Kirsty up there on the 5th. I just called to say. Sticking on that through because it works with all the chords that they're singing and gives us a different tone each time.
To say.
That's lovely. Say, say, say. So there we have the say, say, which is the 3rd and the tonic of the 5th. But we also have say, say, which is the 5th and the tonic of the tonic. So you have this lovely thing here by having the tonic, the key note of the song, and the major 7th of that song, which is in the chord of the 5th. And then we have that note of the 5th. And this is why this chord works so well. Here's a little bit of chord theory for you. Very simple. If you're moving from, let's say, one of the reasons, let's say a perfect cadence works so well. 5-1. Bum, bum. Very, very simple sound. The reason that works so well, in terms of anchoring a sound, not creating its tone, but anchoring it, the 5th is the second most important note in a chord. Bum, 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 bum. Then you could argue the 3rd as well, I suppose, because the 3rd says major or minor and anchors the chord as well. But the 5th really sets it in place. What note is in both the 5th and the tonic of any scale? The 5th. And so because the two chords there include that second most important note, it's a very clean progression from 5 to 1. The reason that works is you have that one note that you can keep. I can keep singing this note, and I can sing it over bum 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 bum. It works in both chords. What's working here, why this is such an interesting sound to me, is that 5th. Kirsty has that on there, right up at the top, and underneath it we have this note, and we have this note, which are notes in the tonic and the 5th, respectively. And because that one note is present, that is, it exists in both of those chords, they work better being played or sung simultaneously than they would do if it wasn't there. If you just had bum bum, it would be a bit of a clash. But because we have that one note in the top, holding the two of those to itself, if you like, it also works as a kind of glue that bonds those two notes together to form a chord that could be a lot more dissonant than it really is. Big tangent there. Hopefully that made sense. But I just think that's a really cool element of that chord.
I just called to say I love you.
And there's that love you. You've got this beautiful thing there.
To say I love you.
Is there a second in there? I can't quite hear it. Regardless, you have this beautiful mix of the voices at that point in time. And the way that everybody is, you have Kirsty holding that note on up at the top. I think it's Kirsty anyway. But everybody else then quite tightly together. We have this 3 or 4 part harmony that's very, very kind of compressed into probably an octave, within an octave. And so because they're all at muchness in terms of register, it's giving us this really rich sort of but limited harmonies. We don't have someone, it's not there isn't someone down here singing a big bass note. That's coming. They're still building.
To to say I love you.
You. Oh yeah, Mitch, I think. You. There's the second. So we've got this really rich chord coming down here, and it's just beautiful.
I just called to say how much I care.
It's just so beautiful, and there we get the from I don't know who that is, Matt or Kevin, I guess. I don't know who tends to lean down. I guess Matt would lean down towards bass most likely. This is kind of more close harmony-ish than other stuff I think I've heard of theirs. Plus, I'm not getting the visual cue of seeing who's singing, so please do cue me in as to who that would be at that point in time.
Say how much I care.
And now also notice we've introduced this element of things holding on. The reverb is creeping back in again. We've had the simplicity. That's out of the way. Now we go towards the emotion. Lovely stuff.
How much I care. I just call.
I assume the symbolism of that is that this person's been talking on the phone for an hour. That's my guess. Either that, or they happen to be talking at 2 a.m. when daylight savings changes. I don't think that's what they're going for here. But that's such a cute and simple thing to do. Just change the hour hand on the clock. Lovely.
To say I love you. And
Oh, such an interesting bass line there. Bum, bum. That's fascinating. Not what I was expecting at all.
I love you. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
They're leaving so many things. They're so rarely resolving to the full tonic. It's beautiful. It keeps this going. It keeps the emotion flowing through this. It gives us these lovely, rich, unexpected changes, but it tells us we still have somewhere to go in this. It's really, really lovely. I also like now that we've changed the nature of what's going on. We've come out of these blues and pinks. Now as we cross through this wall, we cross into this slightly warmer yellow colour, but it's still a very pale yellow. And I love the fact that as we walk in, we get an abundance of the pale colour. He's looking tired, comes into the space, sits down, and then just gets lost in this call.
And I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
And even though this is very Spartan decoration, it's still warmed up. Once we see the picture on the wall, it warms up a little. The two lights. He obscures the light as he comes in, of course. Once we see the two lights, you see, there's something on the table. It's not just bare. Everything just sort of picks up very slightly, and of course the smile as he answers the FaceTime. The other thing I love about this, incidentally, is as we go through this, we get so many different forms of communication. We've had a plain phone call, now we're getting a FaceTime message. It's really interesting seeing that travel. Oh, I'm going to go back on the music. But I love, this is such a simple thing. And I think this is brilliant. He's so lost in the phone call, Kevin has to give him the food and the water. What a simple thing. But you do, right? When you get lost on those really meaningful phone calls, time doesn't mean anything anymore. You're just going. Lovely stuff. Now, I want to listen to this.
From the bottom of my heart.
Those bell chords there, dum 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 dum, beautiful stuff. They hit them so cleanly. I love the fact that we get bum bum, a little bit more of a kind of clarion note up the top there. That's just giving it a bit more sort of it's punching out a little bit more than the others, but it's otherwise being kept dum dum dum. It's fairly sort of withheld. It's not a tum 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 tum. They're not hitting the consonants hard. They're just letting the notes be there and kind of take us through this transition. Lovely stuff. That is gorgeous. Of my heart. The changes that happen there, that is so unexpected. This is one of those points where we would have expected it to resolve to the tonic, and it doesn't. We get these beautiful chords. It tells us we're going to go somewhere. We think, we're going to go into a bit, and it's going to be bottom of my heart. But it doesn't. We go into this rich, open chord. It widens the sound a lot. We go from these tum 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 to heart. It goes up, we get a spread in the chords, we get a wider sound. Everything changes in that moment. Ah, so much to love here. The simple acknowledgement of the hand on the shoulder. I love that there's just a gentle engagement with the individual on the phone there. It's just a very, very light thing, because it's that empathy, that sympathy for somebody who is suddenly feeling, very light, an emotional lightness and a levity and happiness, and that's such a nice thing. I also love that this time the transition happens behind Kevin. As he walks off screen, he pulls the screen wipe with him. Lovely, lovely movement. I like that it's something different, right? Because previously we've always passed by a wall. This time we get a different transition, and it's something totally unique. And what's fascinating is we open up into this room, which is bright. It's brighter than any room we've had so far. We immediately see the picture on the wall. We immediately see a table with stuff on it. But the light is quite cold in this scene. I think this is the coldest we've seen it so far. And we see a child eating alone. There's nobody at the table with him. And this is, I think, the biggest upshift we've had so far of seeing this call come in.
No Libra sun, no hollow.
And I think it's a nice touch that Kirsty actually walks past him and doesn't acknowledge him, moves past, and then he waves. Then you get the smile. Then you get the, hey, mum's on the FaceTime or whatever it happens to be. Different thing again now. We've changed it once more. We're still doing FaceTime, but now it's an iPad set on a table. Communication, different methods of communication, because I just called to say I love you means so many different things now. It's not just a rotary Bakelite phone, or what have you. It's lovely. And the lighting here is so great, because now Kirsty's come into the scene. Her hair's lit. This very white sweater is lit. She's bright. And so it's like she's brought the warmth into the room with her. So as she passes, the FaceTime call comes through. That's really, really nice.
Libra sun, no Halloween, no giving thanks to all the Christmas joy you bring.
Oh, that's so lovely. We come out of these beautiful bell chords once again. They've set that up already. We're getting it as we're in the new key now. The key is the build, first of all. We stay in something that we're used to, and then we get that richness as they all start singing the lyrics at the same time. Really, really lovely. You can hear the little hint of the Pentatonix Christmas sound creep in on that lyric, I think. Maybe it's just the word Christmas in a Pentatonix song. But I love the fact that this song, one of the things about the lyrics to this song that has always struck me so much is that you don't need a reason to call and tell somebody that you love them. You can just do that. Sure, there are days that mark things, and it's nice to do something on those days, but this is lovely. I really like this a lot.
The Christmas joy you bring. But what it is,
Oh.
so new.
I love the little changes to the melody. There's an oh so new, moving around a little bit. It's just stunning. Again, slight changes. We've now got this da 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 da. I'm not quite sure the sound that they're producing, but you have a slightly more open bell chord that's happening now. Kirsty's taking some embellishment liberations with what she's doing with the melody. It's just, this is really, really nice development. And I love her smile there. It's so... You can tell from what she's doing, even though she's singing, even though her performance is directed in a different way, you can tell from the smile how much she's engaged with the joy that's coming from the kid here. That's lovely. Different transition again. First of all, now we're going vertically, not just horizontally. We also go through the table instead of a wall. Lovely touch. We're coming back into this yellow kind of tone again. And I love now, by this point in the song, we're almost 2 minutes in. We've well and truly got what's going on here. So our introductions are a bit more in the moment. We don't get like a dissolve to the character, or like a dissolve. What am I talking about? We don't get like a pan or a camera movement to the character. They're just there, and that's great because now we're kind of opening up to these environments, and we've already had the message of the song, and so now as we go through the remainder of it, it's just, look, here it is. Here is an example of what we're talking about. Lovely, lovely stuff. A couple of changes around. Now we have 2 people. Now it's even more of a family thing than it was before. They're on a laptop. We've had an elevation of the style of communication again in terms of the device that's being used. I love that there are so many things that are retained. There's, this idea of there being a picture or a plant or something like that. There are things that tally across between all of these shots that just knit them together into one big whole. It's a patchwork quilt, right? It doesn't matter if every patch is different, but it's all bound into the one thing. And they've this is brilliant stuff. I really, really like what they've done with this.
No 3 words could ever do.
I just called to say
And again, this is now, we've got these harmonies are so good. I love the sound they're producing here, but straight in, we have that reverb this time. We're not doing the sound quality has changed. It is not the same as it was before. It's a little bit more, it feels a bit more forward to me.
I just could ever do.
I just called.
Yeah, what it feels like is where Kirsty was sitting slightly ahead of the chorus, slightly in front of the chorus in the mix. Now the chorus has come to her. She hasn't pulled back into them. The effect that they've chosen to go for is it's like the chorus has come to us, and it draws you into the song a little bit more because it feels like you're being met in the middle rather than having to go in yourself. That's a really, really interesting decision, and I like the fact that they did that.
To say I love you. I just called to say how.
Oh good, I managed to freeze it in a relatively good place. I love this transition because what this does is this brings this song completely into the modern age. Not that it wasn't already, obviously mobile phones and things like that, but I love the fact that now we're going through a screen, and so we have those digital lines on the screen. And you'll notice in just a second, as we switch through from the image of looking at a screen to the camera being apparently in the room with this person, there's a little pop where those digital lines disappear as we move through the screen. And that is really, really smart editing there. Lovely stuff. I really, really like that move. Now, back to the music. Now, notice here, this is a slightly cleaner. They're resolving more than once. Now we have the bass note, love you, down in the bottom. And you also have this love you. So we go into that lovely note that has a third. It has now a very bassy tonic. We've established that chord, and then with the it takes us away and back into it again. We land back on that same third, reiterating that tonality. And they've shifted out in and out of tonality in terms of the passing chords that they go through as we go through this whole song. But now they reinforce the one that they've gone into. Really nice stuff.
Say I love you. I just called to say how much I care.
Oh, cool things happening here.
Say how much I care. Oh, to say how much I care.
I care. down there, and it fades away and then comes in again a little bit stronger. The way they're using dynamics in this as well, like the chorus fades into the background a little bit and then suddenly reaches forward. That they're playing so much with the sound that they can like work here. It's lovely stuff.
To say how much I care, I just called to say I love you.
Oh, those was love you. Whatever the notes were there. These little embellishments that we're getting from Kirsty up at the top here. Really, really nice stuff because it's just giving us a little bit more. We've got this lovely chorus sound that we've had previously, but now there's a little bit more to it. And but the embellishment is not in front of the chorus anymore. It's back in with it. And so it's now part of the whole. Oh, this is so good. And again, this one I think is particularly interesting. I love that this is obviously somebody who is studying or staying up late for some reason. Just, it's a simple touch, but this call almost has, I think the kid and this call have the two most character. Obviously, at the beginning of the one with the child, you have that sense of loneliness that is changed when the call comes through. But here, we have a crushed can of Red Bull on the left. There's another one on the table by Mitch as we come across there. It gives the vibe of somebody who's putting the hours in, you know? And it's interesting seeing these tiny little bits of character. The man in the suit, as opposed to the first two folks who we saw were more kind of casually dressed. We get a little bit of vibe from each of them as we go through as well, and I think it was really nice.
I love you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
I love that choice to bring Mitch in at that point as the solo, bring him way forward. I think that's almost as forward as any individual sound has been at this point in time. And of course, he's got that beautiful tone. I love hearing him sing. And it just, again, the way that it's all blended together behind, we have this slightly lower harmony at that point in time, so he stands out even more. Really, really nice work.
From the bottom of my heart.
That heart.
Of my heart. Of my heart.
And there's so much character now in this shot, because there's so much happening. We have the Stuffies, the Cheshire Cat in the background. We've got the sort of sheet tent, all this kind of stuff. This is a more lived-in room, I think, than any of the ones we've seen so far. And I love that we just come straight in on the action that's in this. We've got to the point where that's perfectly fine. You do need the strings tauter than that for this to work, though. I do know that. Oh, and again, lovely, lovely key change there. Oh, and that 5-part harmony that builds there as each member comes in, descending down, bringing in the bass at the end to really fill the sound out. That's stunning stuff. Interesting choice of voicing there as well. It's much higher once again. We've got the reverb in the background, but there's this one note here. That chord that comes in there is the only note that low in this entire line. Chord, chord. And it sticks out a little bit in a really interesting way. And I think it just gives a little bit of extra texture at that moment. That then is pulled away again as we get into this rich sound, but it just gives us a little extra something to latch onto. I like that. And there, obviously, we have that descent down, which... Which is interesting. That descending chord there is the relative minor of the key that we're in, which is a chord they've been dropping into at the end of lines more than once. But it works because they're still ending back up again as we transfer into the next line. they end back up again on that tonic note. And how much more the bass is now being, like, the bass is not, it's not soloing per se, but it is standing out more than it has done throughout the entire song. Now we really have that kind of grounding element as we go into this, this final sort of very, very complicated for this arrangement piece of music that's going on right here. It's stunning how they've built this up, and they've earned every second of this by how the arrangement has been constructed throughout. Like, everybody's moving at different times. I don't think anybody is singing in rhythmic unison right now, but they're all moving all over the place. There's so much going on. But we've kind of been training to hear this for the last 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It's brilliant. This is really... what a fun way to end this. That's so nice. I love that we have that solo line from Mitch, and then the ooh, just 2 simple chords just to settle us back down onto the tonic. Lovely, lovely stuff. And again, ooh, from Kirsty up at the top there. That's that 5th again. Lovely.
Yes, I mean it from. Yes, I mean it from.
Oh, so nice. So nice what they do there. A nice little bit of arrangement work there too. We've got, so this is in the subdominant, the 4th. Ya da 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 da. There's the 4th. Da da da. That's let's say we're in C major because it's nice and easy to describe. A C A G F.
I mean it from. Yes, I mean it from.
And so now we have the A flat, which is what turns it into that minor. But what Scott doesn't do is, yes, I mean it from. He starts up here, yes, I mean it from. Starting up on that 5th gives him license to then go down to that minor 3rd without contradicting something he just sang on the way up, which is perfectly fine, incidentally. Oh, excuse me. But I like the way that he does this here.
Yes, I mean it.
Because the tonality of the harmony also doesn't change until he hits that minor 3rd. It allows it to have that slight surprise element. Really nice stuff.
Yes, I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Oh! And then the harmony just lowers and lowers and lowers as we go through that final phrase. That is stunning. Stunning.
Yes, I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Listen to that bass line. Bottom of my bum bum bum. That's, incidentally, I was talking earlier about the 5th. We're in those, if in the 5th, bum bum bum, there's our tonic, bum 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 bum. That's the tonic, the 5th, and the tonic of the 5th. So it's that same structure being used again there.
Yes, I mean it from
4 5 2 5 1. So he starts on the subdominant and then goes up to the 5th, down to the 2nd, which is the 5th of the 5th, down to the 5th, down to the 1. So it's an elongated 2-5-1. But that's beautiful. And the way that they end on such a low harmony too. Whoa.
Yes, I mean it from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, that is stunning. What a marvelous arrangement. And they did such a good job of it. And I love that video. It's perfect. Really, really good. I appreciate, thank you. I do need to say thank yous. I need to say thank yous to, because I didn't do this at the beginning and I meant to. Slap. Live, Lurk, Laugh, DF, and Elizabeth Tucker, who, amongst a couple of others, recommended that I check this song out. And I really appreciate the recommendation on this one, actually, because that was beautiful. I really, really enjoyed it. And I think there's a fascinating video with a fascinating arrangement of, let's face it, a top-tier piece of music. If you haven't heard Stevie Wonder's version, go and check it out. It's an incredible song. I've never seen the film, but I heard it's a wonderful song. But this is a beautiful cover. Really, really nice. So thank you to those who recommended it to me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching this with me. I hope that you've enjoyed your time here. I hope that I brought you something. Whether it's a new perspective on the song, it's the song itself. Hell, Pentatonix. If you haven't heard Pentatonix, well, if you haven't heard the song before, go down into the description. It's down there, the link to the original. But also, which you should have listened to, incidentally, before you listen to me. I really need to get better. New Year's resolution, very late on in the year. Start saying that before I play all the music. But do check out down below, and check out Pentatonix. They're wonderful. And check out the rest of my channel. There's some cool stuff on there, including several more Pentatonix reactions. And what's so lovely, I love hearing from folks who have discovered something because of my videos. Somebody just posted a comment on, I covered Pentatonix's cover of Starships by Nicki Minaj, and someone just posted on there recently, I thought I'd heard everything by Pentatonix, and I just heard this. And I love that so much. That's what I'm trying to do here. The reactions I love so much are, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Thank you for telling me why I like this song. Thank you for introducing me to this song. Whatever it happens to be, I just hope to bring something to you, whoever you are watching this, that you enjoy. And if I have achieved that, then I'm a very happy man. Thank you very much for spending your time with me. As I say, I do hope that you enjoyed this. Please like the video, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and if you would care to support me, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, patreon.com/DavidKReacts, where you can also join my Discord, or leave a super thanks here on YouTube. I really appreciate your time. Please do take care, look after yourselves, have an absolutely wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, 7:14 p.m. Try that, see if I can get someone with that one. I don't know why I keep doing that. It's just amusing to me. But take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.